I'm speaking to a salesperson struggling with closing. I listened to a call clip today and they had a beautiful option to help a client. This client was asking for the interest rate. The individual told him it's about 6.5%. And the client said, perfect. Thanks for the information. I'll talk to you later. And then the banker asked him,
well, did you not like the rate?
And the guy said, nope, I just want to shop it around. And the banker said,
well, let me get you the exact figures.
And then kind of went the route of, I'm going to email you these figures and let me know what you think. And if you like it, sign the application, and he let the guy go. So the call was missing a close. And then he had another presentation today that he wanted to practice with me. He said,
Ace, I want you to help me out, man. I'm having a hard time closing.
And he had a loan that he was doing for somebody with horrible credit. And he was getting this client, not a huge loan, $100,000 cash out of a free and clear home. He was getting them qualified with horrible credit. And I said, go ahead and pitch it to me before you call the client and pitch it. And he automatically started by saying,
hey, Ace, good news. I got you approved, $100,000, 6%. Your payment's going to be this much, and I even got your appraisal waived. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do.
And I told him, stop. I said, there's a very big problem right here is that you just blurted out a whole presentation with 5 factors to me in 12 seconds and told me, here's what we're going to do. That's not a real close, and that's not a real presentation. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, first off, let me just give you a small example. Let's just rewind the whole thing and start from the very beginning. And I said, you be the client and I'll be you. Hey, David, great news, man. It was great talking to you earlier. I actually got phenomenal news for you and I got you fully approved. Before we even get started, let me recap the goals with you that we talked about. And I started off by recapping the goals. And I said, all right, David, you got pen and paper? Write this down with me. The first goal was you wanted to do some renovations, fix up your backyard for the spring and summer. You've been trying to do it for 3 years, right? Yep. All right, perfect. Write that down. I think we're going to be able to knock that out. Number 2, you told me you want to get rid of some of these debts that are tying up your money, very high interest rates, right? Yep. All right, write that down. And number 3, most importantly, you're working overtime right now. You got a free and clear house. Doesn't make any sense at all. Let's leverage some of your equity to give you some flexibility, have some breathing room, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Right off the bat, you see the difference, how I set the stage for the presentation? Hey, these are your goals. This is what I think I could do. Getting them in that positive headspace. You should be recapping the goals and setting the stage for the presentation. You know, if you want to do an ice bath with me, I wouldn't just throw you into the cold plunge. Say, hey, it's going to be great. Yeah, it's ice and it's going to make you feel great. I just toss you in there. You're probably going to have a heart attack, right? I want to set the stage for you to get into the cold plunge. I want to be like, yo, you know, David, this thing's going to be super cold. What I want you to do first is get your leg in, second leg in, slowly creep in, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, in and out, pretend you're in a jacuzzi. It's going to be very tough. You're going to lose, you know, mental stability. It's going to be survival mode. This is how it feels. This is how it's going to feel after 1 minute. And then we slowly get in together. It's a completely different experience because I'm prepping you the right way. So here's where I went with it. So I said, forget about that. That's just setting the stage. I've told you that many times. I've made YouTube videos about it. We've talked about it in the academy. You're missing that basic fundamental, which shows me that you're not even executing on the presentation fundamentals to start it. But let's just go into the appraisal to show you something. Then I said, okay, you told them, hey, I got you a PIW. I waived your appraisal. Like the client doesn't know what the hell a PIW is. You're just throwing a waived appraisal like it's a piece of 10 cents of candy that you're just tossing out like everybody gets it. You're not building anything up. So I said, let me show you how I would even talk about just the appraisal. I said, so David, listen up. You know, typically the most frustrating part of getting a refinance is getting the appraisal. You know, I know your house has been free and clear. You haven't had to worry about this in a while. Typically, somebody has to come out to your house. You got to pay a deposit. Sometimes it comes out all the way up to $1,000 out of your pocket that I got to accept from you today. And somebody has to come appraise your house, make sure the house is in good condition, make sure there's nothing that you have to do. What did I just do right there? I'm telling the client about an appraisal like it's the biggest nightmare in the world when the client doesn't even need an appraisal. Why am I doing that? Because I'm building up the sale for the appraisal. I'm pretending that I'm just selling an appraisal waiver right now. So I'm like, yeah, typically it's $1,000. Somebody comes to your house. Sometimes it's an absolute nightmare. Here's where I pivot and do the sale. Good thing for you, David. Your house is free and clear. You have equity in your home. Your credit score is lower, but you know what? Your house is free and clear. I went to bat for you on this. And what I was able to do for you is actually get your whole appraisal waived. What that means for you, David, is you don't have to pay a deposit out of pocket. You don't have to worry about somebody coming to your house and looking at all your stuff. And it's going to expedite the process. We could probably close by the end of this month instead of next month. So I want you to write this down first. We waived your appraisal, no deposit and nothing out of pocket. You got that down? Beautiful. I thought you would love that. I loved it too. Do you guys see the difference there? He said, hey, I got you an appraisal waiver. I built up the whole sale and said, this is why appraisals suck, but I got rid of that for you. Here's the problem with this, and here's how I made you a solution for this. Instead of saying, here's a solution to the problem that you never knew that you had. And this is huge. And this was the whole fundamental of our conversation. And this was the purpose of this rant, is that if you want to be a great salesperson, you have to know how to build up the sale. And building up the sale is not spitting out something to somebody in 30 seconds and telling them, let's go. It's slowly explaining every single thing, building up every single part of the process. That's just the appraisal. Then it goes like, hey, and the beautiful thing is with your credit score being that low, typically the interest rates are around 8-9%. I was able to get you, look at my tone, how it changes. I was able to get you a 5.99% fixed, David. You believe that? That's the rate for somebody with an 800 credit score. And I got that for you today. It's phenomenal. You're never going to have to touch that rate again. And if you do, I'll be the one to call you because that means rates dropped and I'll be the first person to call you and let you know. But a 5.99%, write that down for me. You see the difference? It's a 5.99. Your payment's this much. Or look, with your credit score, man, typically the interest rates are on 8-9%. I can't even believe I got this for you. I got you a 5.99% fix, which is incredible. Do you guys see what I'm doing here? Do you see what this lesson is? Somebody spewing out the stuff very fast with no buildup, no emotion, no tonality changing. And what I'm doing is I'm building up every sentence, every aspect, building it up, breaking it down, building it up, breaking it down, selling the interest rate like I'm just selling interest rates, selling the appraisal waiver like I'm just selling appraisal waiver. Your closing costs on this side, it was like
your closing costs are $8,000 all rolled into the loan.
On this side, it's like the closing costs. Look, usually on this type of loan with this credit score, with the title work, underwriting, processing, typically it's like 10, 15,000. I got you at $6,800, brother. And the good news is it's all rolled up. Even that, I'm building it up and I'm selling it. And then the payment, this one here was like,
your payment's going to be around $600 a month.
Right here, it's like, and your payment, guess what that's going to be, David? Then he guesses. And I'm like, nah, lower than that, man. It's going to be only $600 a month, which is crazy right now because on personal loans, it would have been like $1,500 a month. On a credit card, it would have been $1,800 a month. On a regular mortgage with the 8%, it would have been this much a month. And for you, it's $600 a month. You can't get that kind of cash cheaper anywhere in America. So you are getting the best kind of loan for $100,000 with the cheapest payment in America. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. That's how good this is for you. Plus, as an extra bonus, man, we're going to give you the first month off in your payment. So here's the next steps, and here's what we're going to do. Then I transition to the close. So that's what I was explaining to this gentleman today, is that you have no buildup in your sale. You're spending a half an hour to get to know somebody, and then you're spewing out the whole gift package to them, the whole solution, which should be the grand finale and the fireworks. You're doing that in 30 seconds. It kind of makes no sense. Right? It's like you're going to train hard for a fitness show for 30 days. And then the 30th day before your fitness show, you're going to just go eat Burger King. That wouldn't make any sense. Or you're going to, cheat your last workout right before the show. Like, no. So like, this is your final show, or it's one of the final shows because you got to close it. So you got to put more time and you got to be a great builder of sales. So if you guys have any questions or anything on your mind, you can start sending those questions in the QA feature. And if you want to come up on stage and talk one-on-one, you could also raise your hand live.